This man with a face full of scars is our protagonist, Zeke Drake, the first direct descendant of the Dragonslayer clan. But despite his noble bloodline, he failed to awaken. Instead of gaining the power of a swordsman, he awakened as a healer. For that, he was rejected, humiliated, and kicked out of his own clan. And now, deep in the snowy mountains, he's about to die. Because of a mysterious treasure he carries, Zeke finds himself cornered inside a cold cave, surrounded by a group of ruthless bandits. Looking at his miserable state, one of them laughs mockingly. "You fool! Did you really think you could escape? Where is the ancient artifact?" Zeke's arms had been severed during the battle, yet his expression shows no fear. If anything, he mocks them back. "Idiot! If you were me, would you say no?" Infuriated, a hooded bandit prepares to stab him, but his teammate stops him. "Calm down. We need to contact the main team first." He pulls out a communication stone. "We've captured the Northern Ghost. Confirm our coordinates." "Coordinates confirmed. We'll arrive soon," a voice replies from the stone. The man looks back at Zeke with a mixture of annoyance and disbelief. "You're unbelievably stubborn. Both your arms are gone and you're still holding on. Why would someone like you target the Emperor's relic?" Before Zeke can respond, the cap-wearing bandit answers instead. "What other reason? He's just trying to cause trouble. We've tolerated him long enough. Let's have some fun before the main team arrives." The man unsheathes his sword, a wicked grin spreading across his face. His teammate flicks a coin into the air. "Heads, I go first." Both of them focus on the spinning coin, eager to decide who gets to torture their prey. But Zeke isn't going to wait for death. While they're distracted, he leans forward, bites into his severed arm, and presses it against his shoulder. A brilliant beam of light bursts from the wound, and the two separated parts begin reconnecting at an impossible speed. "I won't let it end like this," Zeke mutters. "I am Zadrau, the first failed awakener of the Draker clan. Born into the great Dragonslayer bloodline with a body that couldn't use chi energy, I was treated like trash and cast out." He recalls a saying he once heard: "If you only pursue power, you will end up with nothing." Zeke smirks. "Nonsense. Only the strong can afford to say that." The moment his right arm fully regenerates, he grabs a sword from the ground and charges forward with a speed that slices through the air. The hooded bandit finally sees the coin's result. "Heads! Looks like I—" His words never finish. Zeke's blade flashes across his neck, cutting clean through. His head falls before his body even realizes it's dead. The other bandit freezes in horror, then frantically tries to raise his sword. It's useless. Zeke pivots, rushes him, and swings with flawless precision. The strike slices the bandit's sword in half and carves a deep wound across his torso. The last thing the man sees is Zeke's cold, unwavering gaze. He collapses to the ground, blood soaking the snow. Continuing in front of him, Zeke reminded himself, "The weak are always crushed by the strong. What they possess will be taken from them. That is the truth of this world." Before he could catch his breath, countless footsteps echoed outside the cave. More enemies were arriving, comrades of the bandits he had just killed. Seeing he was surrounded again, Zeke picked up his left arm, pressed it to the wound, and healed it instantly. He clicked his tongue. Maybe I really can't escape. The bandits watched in disbelief as he reattached his arm like it was nothing. What? He just put his arm back on? What kind of abnormal monster is he? Disgusting. But whatever. If we cut off his head, he'll die for sure. Whispers spread through the group. But when enemies meet, words become meaningless. Both sides charged, blades clashing violently in the cold air. No one knew how much time passed. Eventually, silence filled the cave. Corpses of the bandits lay scattered across the ground, blood dyeing the snow red. And Zeke had countless swords stabbed into his back, Even with his incredible healing, he knew he had finally reached his limit. Damn it! It seems I'm going to hell soon. I couldn't take revenge, but at least I stole the relic the Emperor wanted. That alone might be enough. With trembling hands, Zeke pulled a purple crystal from his pocket, a relic carved with the shape of a dragon. He held it tightly as his vision blurred. I'm really sorry, Alicia. As his eyes slowly closed, a drop of his blood slid down his forehead, rolled across his nose, and fell directly onto the relic. Instantly, a fierce surge of energy erupted from the crystal. A mysterious figure appeared behind him, the soul of an ancient dragon. The will of the Persistent One has been recognized. Emergency protocol activated. Zadrao, do you agree? To Zeke, the words sounded meaningless. He was already dying. Shut up. Do whatever you want, he whispered. As if accepting his final answer, the voice continued. The agreement has been confirmed. Irreversible power is being awakened. Countdown begins. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A flash of light swallowed everything. Suddenly, a younger Zeke stared into a mirror, touching his own face in disbelief. This is me? I've returned to the past. I can still feel the blade that stabbed into my stomach. But this place, this is the Draker Clan Training Academy. The Draker Clan, descendants of Terrain Draker, the hero who slew the evil dragon Bahamut 1,000 years ago. One of the 3 great clans, a lineage of Dragonslayers. Because of this bloodline, every descendant was blessed with aura. They could easily awaken light aura and become holy knights. Except him. Zeke mocked himself silently, the only one who failed to awaken. Just then, the mechanical voice echoed inside his mind again. Management system initializing. Awakened soul identified. Soul confirmation. 100% match. Selecting the previous awakening. Integration with the will of the ancient dragon confirmed. Partial access granted. Nice to meet you, Zadrao. Opening status window. Administrator level status window. Activated. Name. Zadrao. Profession. Rare healing wizard. Title. Person blessed by the ancient dragon. Healing skills. Restore vitality. Enhanced senses. Combat skills. Rookie precision stab. Rookie slash. Rookie critical hit. Dragon skills. Locked. Requires 10 causality points. Current causality points. None. Back to Zeke. The screen floating before him made him pause in curiosity. It looked like some kind of magic projection, an ancient artifact interface that could be navigated like a modern system. Professions, skills, aura classifications. Zeke recalled that dragon language wasn't used anymore, but his master once explained how ancient people categorized themselves based on what they excelled at. Each profession trained unique techniques called skills, and since his profession was healing wizard, his basic skill was naturally healing. As he remembered the brutal training from his previous life, the drills that almost killed him, Zeke trembled slightly. After his awakening back then, his master forced him to endure merciless training for survival. But according to the status window, he was indeed a healing wizard here too. Let's test it, he thought. In his previous life, he only became a healing wizard in his 20s, after his ether hall unlocked. If that was still true, Zeke closed his eyes and focused on the flow of energy inside him. A moment later, power surged through his entire body, overflowing and unmistakable. His eyes widened with joy. I knew it! My ether hall has already opened! Even though his trained adult body was gone, he had returned to the past with all his skills and memories intact. I'm in a much better position than before, and if I want to take advantage of this, I need to understand everything I have. He turned his attention back to the system window. But before he could continue studying it, a voice echoed from outside his door. "Young Master Zeke, I'm coming in. It's useless to pretend you're not here." The familiar voice made Zeke jolt. Panicking, he tried to close the status window. "No, I'm not done reading. How do I turn this off?" The door slammed open before he figured it out. A large, intimidating man dressed like a butler walked in. "I'm coming in. I can't believe you're not ready yet. What are you doing?" This was Decker, Zeke's personal servant. Strict, disciplined, terrifying when angry. Zeke let out a tiny of relief when Decker didn't seem to notice the floating window. "Prepare?" Zeke asked. "Prepare for what?" Decker's eyes sharpened instantly, his voice rising in anger. "Young Master Zeke, are you seriously asking me that?" Though the words sounded normal, they sent a chill down Zeke's spine. In his childhood, he had been terrified of Decker. Even with the mind of a 32-year-old, that fear was carved deep into his body. His hands began trembling uncontrollably. Sensing Zeke's emotional instability, the system activated a support skill. Calm down. Instantly, his mind cleared. The skill stabilized his mental state, preventing emotional disturbance regardless of the situation. The moment the skill Composure activated, Zeke's anxiety vanished instantly. His breathing steadied, his emotions calmed, and his thoughts became razor-sharp. So this is also a skill. Convenient, Zeke murmured, impressed by how it triggered automatically. Without knowing anything about Zeke's inner panic, Old Man Decker continued sternly. "I've said it many times. This is a very important event. Are you even listening, young Master Zeke?" Zeke smiled lightly. "Of course, Decker. You're talking about the Pancradon evaluation test, right?" The Pancradon test was a long-standing Draker tradition. All Draker children entered a harsh training program known as the Cradle. Starting at age 7, they trained for 5 brutal years. Every year, instructors evaluated them through swordsmanship contests and Pancradon sparring, a no-rules combat match where opponents were either assigned or chosen by mutual agreement. Because there were no rules, many children suffered serious injuries, and some never left the arena alive. But this evaluation decided their academy class placement, so every participant fought with everything they had. The scene shifted to a massive arena. A large group of children had gathered for the Pancradon assessment test. On the platform, a muscular instructor addressed them loudly. "As everyone knows, today is the day of the Pancradon competition. I trust you all understand this is the final evaluation, correct?" "Yes, sir," the children shouted together. Satisfied, the brown-haired instructor nodded. "Good. Your spirits are high. We'll begin immediately. Prepare yourselves." This man, Instructor Pan, was the head instructor of the Cradle. Among the students, Zeke stood silently, while the other children whispered and glared at him with disdain. "It's Zeke. He was humiliated last year and still came back? If I were him, I'd quit. How can he be a direct blood relative? Pathetic." "I can hear all of you," Zeke muttered internally, but he wasn't bothered. He dealt with far worse. Instructor Pan began calling names. "Aaron, Gata, step forward." Both boys rushed to the arena. After taking their positions, Pan shouted, "Ready, start." The moment the word left his mouth, Gata launched himself forward like a leopard. But before his fist even reached Aaron, Aaron's foot snapped upward, kicking him hard in the chin. Gata collapsed instantly, unconscious. Up in the stands, Zeke yawned lazily. "That match is already over. That's what happens when you charge in without a guard stance." As expected, Pan declared, "Gata is unable to continue. Aaron wins." Match after match passed, and Zeke felt increasingly bored. "When I was young, I was terrified of these fights. But these kids are nothing." He yawned again without caring who heard him. Meanwhile, across the arena, a freckle-faced kid stared at Zeke with wide, excited eyes. like a predator watching its prey. His hands trembled with anticipation. Eventually, Zeke's turn arrived. Coincidentally, his opponent was the freckled boy. "Zeke, Leon, are you two ready?" Pan yelled. "Yes, sir," they answered together. Zeke stared at the kid, rubbing his eyes, unimpressed. Leon, however, sneered at him with open contempt. "Look at you. Back again this year, huh? Looks like you weren't beaten enough last time." His words stirred up memories of last year, when the old, weak Zeke had been forced to kneel and beg Leon to stop. "I'm sorry, Leon Conrad. Please forgive me this time." That was what the old, weak Zeke had once begged. But back in reality, Zeke felt nothing for him now. Well, whatever, he thought. Leon was his opponent every single year. Zeke was certain Leon had always spread lies and pulled dirty tricks behind his back. And Leon's family would justify it with nonsense like, "To become a true Dragonslayer, you must overcome unfair adversity." Zeke scoffed inwardly. Why would trash like him be my cousin? In his previous life, Zeke never even met his 4 direct bloodline siblings. Instead, he had dozens of cousins, and all of them bullied him relentlessly. Thinking of this, a strange smile appeared on his face. On the other side, unaware of Zeke's thoughts, Leon continued taunting. "I have to give you credit, Zadru. You're brave enough to come back after I beat you into the dirt last year. Or maybe, you're just too stupid to learn your lesson." He smacked himself on the head mockingly, smirking with arrogance. Zeke felt a flicker of anger, but the mental skill calmed it instantly. It had been so long since he heard such childish insults that it felt almost nostalgic. Zeke sighed and gave a cold warning. "Hey, if you call me that again, I won't go easy." Leon leaned forward, patting Zeke's head like a dog. "And what are you going to do, you lowly bastard?" That was the final straw. Zeke didn't bother replying. In a blink, he swung his hand across Leon's face, the impact sending Leon flying like a ragged sack. At the same moment, the system chimed. Critical strike activated. D-rank skill. Critical strike has dealt increased damage. Leon's scream filled the arena as he clutched his face like a wounded animal. My face! My face!" he howled, trembling. Zeke blinked at his own fist, surprised. "I only meant to knock him out. But the skill activated even on a normal punch. I really can't control this power yet." Instructor Pan saw Zeke's sudden attack and shouted angrily, "Zadru, what are you doing? The match hasn't even started." Zeke sighed at the teacher's innocence. Who waits for someone to say start on a battlefield? The one who attacks first gains the advantage. He flashed a sly grin, a grin that made Instructor Pan stiffen as a chilling aura washed over him. That feeling, was that bloodlust? Pan wondered, uneasy. Meanwhile, Leon had pushed past the pain and roared. "I'm fine, teacher. Please, start the match. I'll deal with that lowly bastard myself." His face was filled with rage and humiliation. Zeke only smiled sarcastically. This idiot really didn't learn. Seeing how eager the two were to tear each other apart, Instructor Pan didn't bother stopping them. "Then prepare. Start." The instant the command was given, Leon exploded forward with surprising speed. Yet when he saw Zeke standing there calmly, something inside him trembled.